All right, you're on.
CMC Communications Broadcasting, in proud association with CMCBroadcasting.com, our home website. Proud to bring you Pearland Lady Oilers softball. The Pearland Lady Oilers took a 1-0 lead over the Clear Springs Lady Chargers last night at a 7 p.m. batter-up over at Clear Springs Lady Charger Field. Charles McCullough here along with Mark Deska. From the desk of Mark Deska, we've got a recap of the first 3 innings of play. We are bringing you the last 3 or 4 innings of this ball game or more. We're not sure yet. We're bringing it to you via podcast. And Mark, let's recap the first 3 innings of play.
Well, the first inning went, each team got their leadoff hitter on base and then went down in order. And then Chavarria struck out the side for Pearland in the second inning. And then the Pearland offense exploded for 4 hits and 5 runs off of 3 extra walks in that second inning. Batted around and was able to put up a 5 spot on the board. Clear Springs chipped away in the 4th, got a Crawford home run and a single to make it 5-1.
Now leading off for Pearland is number 9, Kaylee Buck.
Heading into the bottom of the 4th inning, we stand Clear Springs 1-4-0, and Pearland has 5-6-0 across the scoreboard.
And as fortune would have it, one way or the other, we've moved now to the bottom of the 4th inning of play. Kaylee Buck is the leadoff batter for Pearland. Pearland has a 6-1 lead or a 5-1 lead, and she's going to take ball 1 low and outside. Beginning her 4th inning of work is Miss Kelly Maxwell pitching. On the mound for the Clear Springs Lady Chargers, she had 9 strikeouts last night. She's got 4 this afternoon, make that 2. Next pitch comes in, is going to be downstairs for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Miss Kaylee Buck, who's been doing a great job in left for the Pearland Oilers also.
Had an eventful day thus far. Had a single in the first, and an RBI, drew a walk in the second, and came around to score herself. So plenty busy thus far in game 2.
5-1 is our score. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning of play. Charles McCullough along with Mark Deska. I'm proud to have you on board with us, friends. Kaylee Buck at the plate. Last night she fooled around and turned on a big fastball and drilled it all the way to dead red center. And got a double out of it and brought in a couple of runs.
Number 8, Natalie Romeo.
Kaylee Buck reaches first on a base on balls. The second time she's walked this afternoon. And that will bring third base lady Natalie Romeo, who's been having an eventful day today as well, sir.
Yeah, she's been a little less lucky thus far. She grounded out in the first and grounded into a double play in the second.
Romeo will bat up from the port side of the plate, as does Buck. I was laughing with Aileen Garcia a little earlier when she was up here in the press box putting her iPad down so that they could play some of that interesting music Abel Moreno loves so much out to the fans in the stands. And she was telling me that, yes, indeed, the Pearland Lady Oilers have an all-lefty batting squad with the exception of 2 righties, and that's pitcher and catcher Alyssa Denham and herself, Aileen Garcia. At the plate, Romeo, pivot bunt stance into the infield, scooped up Maxwell, throw to first, it's dropped. That is an E3, and reaching is Natalie Romeo on a little E3 Bengal-Ruski. And Pearland now with no outs in the bottom of the 4th inning of play is starting a threatening scoring bonanza here, which could be a scoring fiasco for Clear Springs.
Walls is 1 for 2. She struck out in the first, doubled, hit a 2-run double in the second.
Double steal.
Got a double steal that has just taken effect. As heading down to third is Kaylee Buck. Romeo roams her way all the way out to second. And at the plate, Ashlyn Walls, an outstanding shortstop, talking to Maddie Clements' dad, Clint, in the box tonight, handling the chores as a announcer for the press, heading out into the stands. The voice you hear wafting through the air and then Nate Shandera on the scoreboard tonight. Here's the pitch coming in, low and outside for a ball. But we were talking about the Lady Oilers, both last night and today.
Number 7, Ashlyn Walls.
And now Ashlyn Walls over at short just has this incredible release. Looks a little bit like Miss Kuyos from years past. Pitch coming in up into the attic will be a ball. She'll wait until she can capture that ball almost in the grass of the rim of the outfield, wherever she is in deep short, from center heading over toward left, and still find a way to fire it 100 feet to first with incredible release just as the runner is about to hit the bag. Next offering down low, that's going to be another walk, and that's the problem that you've got with Kelly Maxwell on the mound. This is her second game in a row. She pitched last night, did a pretty good job, but she gave up 4 runs on 8 hits. The Lady Oilers, Alyssa Denham threw last night 12 strikeouts, 1 under her average, but she wound up giving up no runs, still 8 hits. Pitch coming in. That will be a called strike 2. By the way, that was not a walk issued to Ashlyn. Ashlyn thought she had taken a 4-pitch walk to first, but it was a strike call. So now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes on a full count. 5 runs on 6 hits this afternoon thus far for Pearland. 1, 4, and 1 for Clear Springs. Now that will be ball 4 on the ripe 32 count, and Ashlyn gets a batter's payoff.
Now batting for
6 walks now for Maxwell.
10, Sydney Gutierrez.
First base lady Sydney Gutierrez steps up to the plate.
Now entering the game for Clear Springs to pitch is number 1, Kendall Gothard.
And Coach Knight has just replaced Maxwell with Kendall Gothard on the pitcher's mound, and she'll do her warm-up tossing. That's probably, I don't want to second-guess a great coach like Jennifer Knight for Clear Springs, Mark Deska, but when you start going to your bench to bring in someone from out in the bullpen, that's maybe a decision in a game 2 with a tight segue of game 1 last night, game 2 today, and then as game 3 if necessary immediately following. An ace like Kelly Maxwell might have been saved for game 3 and start this young lady now.
Yeah, it's a tough situation because it's a winner go home in game 2, but if you never get to game 3, you know, where are you then?
That's the logic behind why she would have gone with Maxwell today. On the other hand, that could also spell a lot of detail into the analysis that perhaps Maxwell is the best that they've got, and there may not be an analog to Chavarria, who has really been doing a great job today too. Her line has been incredible.
Yeah, Maxwell finishes the game, 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 2 strikeouts, 6 walks. Chavarria on the other side has 4 innings thus far, 1 run on 4 hits, 8 strikeouts to only 2 walks.
Well, we have the proverbial problem that is always seen when you have no outs or 1 out. In this case, no outs. That's even worse. But you've got the bases loaded. 6 things can happen. 5 of them are bad. Connected, and that's what I'm talking about. A base hit. That's going to bring in at least 2 ducks off the pond. Well, no, she's safe. It's like the girl on the Morton's Salt Shaker, the cartoon for a whole century. When it rains, it pours. That's what happened to the Pearland Oilers, to the Clear Springs Chargers on behalf of the Pearland Oilers. You have Sydney Gutierrez step up. She rips a bouncing Betty into left field, and 2 ducks coming off the pond, Kaylee Buck and Natalie Romeo. And now the Pearland Oilers are 7-1 over the Clear Springs Lady Chargers. And 5-spot batter stepping up to the plate, Lindsay Stewart.
Number 17,
Stewart 1 for 2 on the day. She tripled and scored in the second and grounded out in the third.
Well, I'll tell you the thing about Lindsay. She's got 4, 5 40-yard dash, but I keep saying that every game. But I was told in good confidence that she actually was timed at the rig running a 4.5 40-yard dash sprint. For a young lady like herself, with a big future ahead of her collegiately and otherwise. That this is really impressive. Well, I've got runners on first and second now, one in scoring position. We have no outs. Pitch coming in, connected on. That's going to be a base knock going into the power alley in left center. That's going to bring in one more duck off the pond, and Pearland Lady Oilers are going to get gunned down out at third, as coming down to try to stretch a little bit more into
Lindsay Stewart with
the
an RBI
possibility
hit, brings up
of
number 6, Aileen
getting into
Garcia.
deeper scoring position. Sydney Gutierrez will be gunned down at third. Heading out to second will be Lindsay Stewart, just the same. She'll be credited with a Cracker Jack bingle. The gun down at third of Sydney Gutierrez only brings one out to Pearland, but now they lead 8-1. And Aileen Garcia gets to watch this while she's still at the plate, having yet to receive a pitch. First pitch comes in, and it is strike one call. We have a righty on the mound, swung on, pasted back foul. That'll be strike two, nothing, end at 2 is the count. And Lindsay Stewart out at second, looking for a green light. When Lindsay Stewart is turned on in her ignition, and she's doing well, getting on base at least 3 out of 4 times a game, which somehow she masterfully has the ability to do. The Pearland Lady Oilers never lose. The one loss they had in district was it just happened to coincide with Lindsay going 0 for 4 that particular night. Full wind-up stretch in pitch. Swinging, pasted foul over the left side. That'll be a foul ball. It left the building just foul. And Aileen Garcia, she's powerfully built, and she can get one in her wheelhouse and juke it out of here if necessary. Lady O's let the roof fall in the bottom of the second when they scored 5 runs. They've scored 3 runs just in this stanza alone. 8 runs total on 8 hits. Pitch coming in upstairs will be a ball. 4 runs on 8 hits last night in a 4-0 victory over Clear Springs. Clear Springs has 1 run on 4 hits this afternoon, and it's starting to get a little bit long in the tooth for the proud Lady Chargers from Clear Springs High School, facing your Pearland Lady Oilers. Swung on, connected over to short, and the throw over to first in time, and we've got a 2-out scenario.
Now batting for Pearland, number 18, Alyssa Denham.
Alyssa, yes sir, Mark.
Denham 2 for 2. RBI single in the second and scored. Another single in the third. So good day for her thus far.
Yes sir, and she and Aileen, as mentioned, the pitcher and the catcher ordinarily. Alyssa's the designated player this evening. When she's not pitching, she's chosen to be a heavy hitter at the plate with her bat. That's how talented this young lady is. Here's the rockin' pitch. That'll be a called strike. Pearland Lady Oilers under Coach Attaway Lene Clark, who just celebrated 2 milestones, her 600th victory in her career a couple of weeks ago, and then her victory a week and a half ago, which was her 500th victory at Pearland alone. Lindsay Stewart out on second, looking for, again, that green light. All the runs, the 4 runs scored last night for Pearland, that's a pass ball going behind Alyssa. Heading down to third will be Lindsay Stewart, and she'll set up a 90% likelihood for that 4.5 40-yard dash speedster to be able to come into the pay station and rattle up run number 9 potentially for Pearland. Denham steps back up into the box. That bat held high. Pitch coming in, connected on. That's a sky needle. That could be trouble. Oh, it's gone.
Goodbye.
That's a home run. Alyssa Denham with a 2-run humdinger over the Oilers softball scoreboard out in right field. And the Pearland Lady Oilers now lead 10-1, and they are now in danger of run ruling the Clear Springs Lady Chargers.
Yeah, she just caught that one and poked it the other way, just out over the scoreboard in the right, out to right field.
Wow, that is exciting. As I tell you what, coming in ahead of her, Lindsay Stewart, who usually has to find her way turning on the propane jets on all that incredible speed to either score or steal a base. That time she can walk in. As Alyssa Denham
Another 2-out hit.
slugs a powerful blast over the right field wall. And as I was about to mention just before we got that humdinger, the Pearland Lady Oilers, they scored all their runs last night with 2 outs on the tote board. They did the 2-out tango, and that's what they're doing now. They weren't satisfied with having a 3-run inning. They wanted to put in a couple more, so they waited till there were 2 outs on the tote board, and now they do the 2-out tango. Boy, do they ever. As Alyssa Denham goes yard right side. Next pitch comes in, will be low and in for a ball. This is really something special. What a beautiful afternoon. Coach Lene Clark had the eats down there, hot dogs and hamburgers. Madison Clement's dad, Clint, doing the honors down there, doing most of the cooking. I noticed that his wife and his father-in-law made sure that he did most of the rest of the work too. That's understandable. Pitch coming to connect, and on bouncing Betty over to short. Throw over. Finally an inspired play on the part of a rather demoralized infield. You can understand why. Because even though we have an ending to this stanza and inning in general, the Pearland Lady Oilers have scored 5 runs. And they have done so on another 4 hits, not the least of which is a 2-run gigantic bomb blast over the right field scoreboard by Alyssa Denham. And I'll tell you what, Mark Deska.
Yes, sir.
Pearland Lady Oilers, we'll call them butter, they're on a roll, and it's a Kaiser roll right now, because if they score 1 more in the next inning, and if Clear Springs can't put anything up in the top of this next inning to come, which will be the 5th inning, then this game, set, match, series to go with it, all in the books.
Yeah, Chavarria definitely looks locked in, so it's going to be a tall task for Clear Springs to claw their way back into this one.
Yes, sir. And it's Adriana Chavarria doing a wonderful job. Wow. She's got at least 6 Ks tonight.
She has 8.
8 strikeouts. My goodness. What a competitor. I'll tell you, just in terms of production alone, she is essentially every bit the pitcher that Alyssa is. Alyssa's got that incredible 6'2" height, that whirlwind windmill rise pitch, which is like none other in the state of Texas. She averages 13 strikeouts a game. Nobody else does that. But Chavarria, the bottom line is, every time she has started a game this season that I've seen, she's won. So the bottom line is, in sheer production alone, you've got to go with that. And Chavarria is every bit the second star pitcher on this staff. And when you've got 2 excellent hurlers from the mound, not just 1 but 2 real stars, you got a chance of doing something going toward state.
Well, and not to mention when you can put Denham in as the designated hitter for a 2-run home run when she's not even pitching.
Tell me about it, bro. I want to tell you something, too, about Alyssa. You know, she's 6'2", and she's got a very deceptive swing. It almost looks like she's not coming around with enough bat speed, but she is. And it's deceptive as strike 1 comes in. And I think part of it is because when you watch her mechanics, Alyssa's already starting what looks like a slow swing, but she just starts it a lot sooner when the ball's leaving the pitcher on the mound. And she's got that kind of savoir-faire, as we've got a base knock heading over to short. No, maybe not. Did Ashlyn Walls actually nail her there? No, safe, but that's what I'm talking about. Walls can stop the unstoppable and almost nail him.
Brings up number 2, Kayla Fielder.
So Kayla Fielder will step up to the plate now for the Clear Springs Lady Chargers. Tell us about Fielder and Pace, who just cracked a bingle in her first trip, or in her 3rd trip, my friend.
Pace now 1 for 2. Fielder also 1 for 2. She singled in the first, was caught stealing, and then struck out in the 3rd. Did Fielder.
Yes, sir. Well, the Pearland Lady Oilers, 10-1 is the lead over the Clear Springs Lady Chargers. The Deer Park Lady Deer annihilated their opponent 22-3 the other night. They will face the winner of this series next week. That will be a battle between two longtime friends, Coach Attaway Lene Clark and fine Deer Park head coach as well. That's going to be Carrie Austin. From Austin to Deer Park to Pearland, you've got that Austin connection for Ostgen and Coach Attaway Lene. Pasted over the left side will be a foul ball. Strike 2, 1-2 the count. Pace on board at first, trying to set the pace for some kind of a comeback for the Clear Springs Lady Chargers, who are not only down 10-1 in this game, they're down 1-0 in the series. They can't come back here. It is over for the 2016 season. Now, this little lady, Kayla Fielder, goes about 95 pounds in weight. Her father was in the press box last night. She was 3 for 4 last night. She had a humpback line drive cracked into left, another one cracked into right, and then she pasted a screaming line drive to left, hitting with power that you could never suspect would be the case in a young lady of her size. But like the bumblebee that can't fly, when it does fly, you believe it. That's a hit by pitch, so Fielder will now trot to first. We're in the top of the
Now batting number 10, Andrea Hearn.
5th inning of play. The Pearland Lady Oilers lead 10-1 over the Clear Springs Lady Chargers.
That's the third base on balls for Chavaria today.